What's going on, guys? Coach Ian here with Legacy Endurance, helping you run further, faster, and more focused. And we're getting into race season, so this week we're talking about taper time. Stick around.
Ready, set, go!
Alright guys, so we're talking about tapering, and so tapering is something that you do before you lead up to an important race. So your A race, or any race for that matter, we look at doing what's called a taper period. Simply put, what a taper period is, it's a period of time before a race where you reduce both the volume and the intensity of your workouts. You should have been working super hard, you should have came through a real peak season, a real hard cycle in your training, and now you're on the verge of your marathon or half marathon, whatever it might be. So now it's time to taper. So what does that look like? Well, it depends on a couple things. It depends on your fitness level. Elite athletes need a little less time to taper than the average person would. So for example, here's kind of a rule of thumb that I would recommend for you as far as how long you should be tapering for. Marathons, you should be somewhere in that 2 to 3 weeks, so 14 to 21 days before your event, you should begin your taper period. If you're running a half marathon, that might be somewhere in the 10 to 14 days. And for 5 and 10K races, you still want to taper in there. That might be like 5 or 7 days of really reducing volume and intensity. You want to continue to train during that time, but you're certainly not going to be doing hard, intense workouts. It's going to be a lot of easy mileage, a lot of nice, relaxed, chill running. The work is in the bag. You can't get any more fit in those last couple weeks. So the important part of tapering is to start to reduce that volume and intensity to enhance muscle recovery, enhance your body's ability to repair. So that's the reason why we taper. Now, here's a couple things you should be expecting during the taper. If you're like me and you're a lot of marathoners or runners, you're going to get anxious in that time. You're going to feel like you're not working hard enough. It's totally normal, and that's okay. Actually, I think a lot of people actually start to get grumpy, and I'm one of those people too. I start to get really edgy in the last few weeks leading into a race because of that taper. So it's something you should just be expecting. Know that that's coming, and don't let yourself get rattled. It's part of the process. It's part of your training, and it's super critical. Here's a couple tips for you to do during the taper. This helps me to sort of stay focused and not get too worried about not working hard enough. So here's some things you can do to keep your mind going during that taper period. And it's actually very helpful in your race. First thing I'd recommend is study the course you're running. Have a look at the course profile. Have a look at where the aid stations are. Look at where the turns are. There's a lot of times you can find on YouTube videos of the course, and you can observe and look at sort of what are some of the key points in that race. It's actually a nice visual you can have, and it's just something that'll help you to not have to be so anxious. Come race day, it takes one less thing out of your mind. You've had some time to mentally prepare for that. You can also look at what is the aid station serving, what type of drink, what type of gels, where will you find stuff on the course. Not that you have to memorize those things, but it'll give you something to think about, help you sort of create your race strategy going in. So that's super helpful. Another thing you can do is make sure you get a lot of rest in those last couple of 3 weeks. You've worked your butt off to this point. Take your rest. Stay super hydrated. Get 8 hours of sleep each night if you can. You need to really promote recovery so you can perform your best come race day. Speaking of that last couple weeks, one thing I'll give you, one last tip is to, which I see happen for a lot of people, is it's very common for people to get sick in the last couple weeks. You start to let yourself sort of just relax a little bit. You come out of that intense period of training, and your body starts to maybe get a little bit, your immune system starts to come down. So one recommendation is start pumping vitamin D. Make sure your diet is on point. Make sure you're getting lots of fluids, lots of rest, and not letting that happen to you. So super important. Make sure that as you are leading into your races, I know we're on the verge of a lot of spring marathons here, get your taper in. Have a really good plan for how you're going to get yourself ready for that race. Hopefully that helps you guys this week. Enjoy that taper. It's a great part of the process. I would love it if you'd like. I'd love it if you subscribe and share this video. We're going to continue to post every single week. In fact, we're going to double up our YouTube game. So if there's something you'd like me to talk about, comment below. Tell me what's going on for you in your training. I'd love to connect with you. I always answer every single message. So thanks a lot. Have a great week. Happy running, and we'll talk to you soon.